still focused on our topic of strategy for this month, as we've really been honing in on all the aspects that it comes to with strategy, and making sure that as we get stuck, it's because we fail to focus on solving the right issues in our business. And I like issues over problems. And because I don't know, just sounds better. So we're definitely gonna stay focused on issues and solving our issues. And that's really what good strategy, bad strategy is all about. And so if you think back through the complexity of this month and the things that we've touched on, it really starts with a running list of our issues. And I don't care where you guys keep those issues. If you move and you're managing your projects, your rocks, your things through Trello, have one of your columns there, a card that just has, short-term, long-term. And I would say anything less than 90 days is short-term. Anything beyond is long-term. Who identified the issue? And because what I want to give you guys today is the level 10 cadence. And it's really a formula, a format that can be used in every one of your meeting conversations. But this is really, as we're talking about managing the rocks, managing the strategy, the priorities that we've identified that are helping us solve the issues in our business. So once you have the issues, then you can start kind of going through, okay, well, this is what this is what I propose. We focus our energy and our effort on to solve. We talked about, hey, leveraging math, just leveraging things to help you choose the right rocks. I will say one thing, that if you choose the wrong rock, as you start working on it, you'll know it. You'll start working on it and you'll know, man, this ain't the right thing, because we still have issues that are popping up, and it's like, man, this is not the right, we're focused on the wrong thing. And that's okay. It's okay to, put something down. That's what I always tell everybody about, reading books. Just because you start a book doesn't mean you have to finish it. And so just when you get into it, if you got what you need, you can put it down. It's okay. And then once we really start to identify, we have to unpack what are all of the tasks that have to be true for us to get to our definition of finished. So if we have a priority that is to, XYZ, lead generation system that's going to produce X, we have to have a clear finish line, because we need to know what is done. Are we done? And if not, then it just tends to spiral out and it doesn't fully get implemented. So with all of that said, everything that we've covered, talked about the entire month, this is really where, the old rubber meets the road, really where we can focus on the execution side of things, because it's one thing to plan and identify and lay everything out, but now we have to execute. We have to do. And so I wanted to give you guys that level of kind of the meeting cadence, the meeting rhythm, but also what that agenda really needs to look like. And what's cool is that we've done this somewhat knowingly, unknowingly, for a long time, but it's just cool to see it implemented in our business. And we do our level 10 meetings every Monday morning. And, we spend 2 hours together. Realistically, you can get done in 90. And I think when you're in a good rhythm, you can probably get it done a lot faster. I always joke about the financial meeting in the early days in the brokerage, and that was a 2-hour meeting. And I was on the financial meeting with Stace and Reedy on Friday. I think we were on for maybe 20, 22 minutes, and we bullshitted for 20. And it's just because we can go fast, right? When we know what we're looking at, when we know what we're trying to do, we know, hey, what's off, what's on, what we need to do. And so it takes a little bit of time, but you can get it into just a rhythm that's just unbelievable. So if you guys want to ride along, I'm going to give you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps of your agenda. And yeah, this was our level 10, which means this is the big opportunities. This is our priorities. These are our rocks. This is kind of what we're projects when we're working on the business and we're solving issues. This is the cadence that we go through, but this is the cadence that we're going to make sure that we use in all of the other areas of the business as well. And I'll give you a handful to make sure that you're paying attention to. So we always start with good news. Always start with good news. Positive focus, whatever you want to talk about. We put it in two parts. Give me something personal and give me something professional. And I like that. We've always left it up to just give me good news. And what you will tend to hear or see sometimes is that you'll never hear anything personal, or all you do hear is personal. You don't hear any professional. And so I like that. Tell me both. Now, where that can get into a bit of a time constraint is if we're doing it like in our huddle and we have a large team. And I forget who I was breaking down. I was breaking down the morning huddle, the daily huddle, and I can unpack that for you guys at the end of the call. But they're like, well, you can't do that in 10 to 15 minutes if with that many, with 20, 25 people. And I'm like, yeah, we did it with about 50 in about 10 to 15 minutes. Because if everybody knows what's going on, then you can move fast through it. So always start with good news. And I will tell you, I promise you this, you'll know who your admins are and you'll know who your salespeople are. Because your salespeople will be telling stories. It can drag on. So whoever's moderating, whoever's like, hey, keep it going, just like, hey, let's keep it short, keep it to the point. We're rocking this morning. So give me something professional, give me something personal, and then you can just keep them moving. The next segment, and so I'll give you a time constraint with this. So less than 5 minutes on good news. The next thing we move to, and this is the importance of scorecards. Of being able to have scorecards that you can see what the numbers are. And, as we're a work in progress, but we have identified everything we want to see. Now we're working on to make sure everything is updated on a continual basis. What I would say is you can track and measure 100 things, but there's only a handful of things that really matter. And you look at, is it a KPI or is it a KRI, right? Is it something that's going to drive the results? What do we need to be paying attention to? And what I would tell you is pay attention to the things that drive the results first. So, hey, we need to measure the things that get us new business. We need to make sure we're measuring, butts in seat, time in seat, dials, conversations, leads, the front things. Hey, how many appointments, how many nurtures, how many, like I said, conversations, what are those things that we want to see from a scorecard? They have to be updated before the meeting. Don't use this time to try to update anything. And if not, or you don't understand it, there is a point in this agenda for us to dive deeper on that. Okay. It's the IDS part. So if there's a metric or there's something off, you say, okay, let's add that to that part of the agenda. If it's not there, so like today, for example, issue popped up, there's numbers not in the scorecard. So I said, we got an issue. And they said, perfect, we'll talk about it in just a second. And so when we came back, when we got down to that part in the agenda, then we unpacked what has to happen. So it's not becoming an issue in the future. If you stay disciplined to the agenda, you'll be able to move a lot faster and you won't derail the process. And us entrepreneurs, driving personalities, we are the world's best at derailing the process. Correct? Correct. So stick to the agenda. Scorecard, less than 5 minutes. Good news, less than 5 minutes. Scorecard, less than 5 minutes. And then you move into the rocks. So here you guys have gone. You've identified what your rocks are for this quarter. Okay. And you only are looking at each of the rocks, and we spend 15 to 20 minutes max on the rocks. And essentially what we're looking at is, are we on pace or are we off pace? So one of our key rocks this quarter is focused around lead gen. Well, we can't execute on lead gen without a sales engine and without a salesperson.